Welcome to the Woman Who Left podcast.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny, how are you?
You all right, guys?
Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just talking about that competition that Ryan's doing, Claire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That's
doing
knowledge.
world's strongest Viking, the Masters version. And he got an invite and he was so excited because obviously it sounds awful, it's always me that gets the invites and stuff, but he got an invite and he was really excited. And then he saw all the other competitors. And for you guys that like know how big Ryan is, he's the smallest guy there.
No way.
And he's like, yeah, these guys were like, list out, you know, when you have to do your bio, oh, you know, what's your history and whatever. This guy's like, yeah, I've been Estonia's strongest man, Sweden's strongest man. I've competed at World's Strongest Man, came like third in Masters and all this. And Ryan's like, I'm married to Claire. It's like,
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, to be fair to him, he's training his like butt off, really. He's really, really working hard. He trains so hard. And like, I'm so proud of him for like, he doesn't care. He just like cracks on and like gives it a go. That's really, really cool.
Cool. And what were you at today, Jenny?
I beg your pardon.
What were you doing today?
Oh, what have I done today? I read and then I've been working, and that's
Lovely.
pretty. And I was cold, so I had a really hot shower before I came on here.
I've been cursing Jenny.
Hey?
I've been cursing you today.
You're
Oh,
always
good.
fucking cursing, Jenny.
Yeah. So it turns out I'm really not good at keg toss. Pleased to know. First
Oh, wait.
night. And then I can't count on stones.
Oh,
Yeah, it was supposed to be 10 reps. And I did 12. And
well, better to count over than under.
not when you then get to your next set and you can't pick the buggers up because you're knackered.
Oh, that's pretty clear.
I done an 80 kilo sandbag to lap today, which was a big win. And then I couldn't pick up the fucking 80 kilo farmers. After that, literally, like they were stuck to the ground, and I had done it last week, no bother, and ran with them.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I sat on my arse all day. It's really hard.
I did that yesterday. I was like, I'm not training. I'm just going to lay here. And I literally watched Chippendales on TV for like all 8 episodes it was. It was great. I had a great time.
Yeah, so, you know, like everyone gets addicted to like box sets and stuff. We've been watching Yellowstone. Anyone see?
So have we.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Don't be telling me anything past season 2.
we're like coming up to the point now in like the last season that they filmed, and they break halfway, and then we're gonna have to wait months for the other half. And I'm literally, I don't know how I'm going to cope without this in my life. It's I'm not normally addicted. Ryan gets addicted to them, and I just sort of zoom in and out and just watch the odd one. And literally, I've not done housework for a week. Not bothered. Any downtime, I'm like, come on, we can get an episode in. We can do this.
Yeah. I know I was saying to Michael, come on, we can get an episode in before I start this podcast. And he was like, no, Nicole, you need to be on the downwind, like the onwind, because you're going to get yourself so worked up before you go on. And then that Yellowstones can be quite violent. And then he's like, then you're going to be pure worked up, and you're not going to, like, you're going to be upstairs up to high do. And I was like, I'll be up to high do anyways. It doesn't fucking matter.
I've never seen it. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Really recommend. It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to look out for that.
And apparently the guy who's in it, like one of the main characters, a guy called Rip Wheeler, you know, Montana cowboy. He's like an international heartthrob now and everything. And like Ryan just keeps coming out with his quotes, and I just keep looking at him. I'm like, you're not a cowboy. You're just not a cowboy. Yeah. Doesn't work the same with a Wigan accent.
No. Oh, is that where Ryan's from? Wigan?
Yeah.
I thought he was a Welsh guy.
No.
Kind of explains the accent, actually, when I think about it now, back to UK's.
Yeah.
So, right. I'm always wild shit when it comes to starting these things because I never know what to say. But you think more and more I practice, and I like introducing people. Like, I know you how long now, and I still get nervous introducing people because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So here goes nothing. I'm not going to go into too big of an introduction. I can always add that in later on. Welcome to the Woman Who Left podcast, Talking Strong. Today I have Lucy Underdown with me and her wee dog, Millie.
Yes.
And we have Claire Myler and Jenny Todd. I'll let you, everyone that's probably listening knows everything about you anyway. But if you want to give me what I normally do? Oh, a fun fact about you, and then we can. Well, hang on. No, just see, Jesus, I did that all wrong. Lucy Underdown. I'll start again. We have Lucy Underdown, the deadlift world record holder, and we have Claire Myler, the world's strongest woman, and Jenny Todd, world's strongest coach. That sounds better, doesn't it? Now, give us a wee fun fact about you.
Ooh, what should I say? I have a non-identical twin sister that lives about 5 minutes from Claire.
She does. She's not been to visit yet, though.
No. I haven't been to visit the sister either. That's a bit of a subject of contention at the minute.
Okay. Random fact. I have competed at a World Cup or World Championship in 3 different sports.
Oh, wow.
Pretty odd.
There we go. Random fact.
Which sport?
So I competed at junior world championships, pre-world championships, and senior pre-world championships and World Cups in slalom kayaking. And then I competed in World Cups in downhill mountain bike racing. Obviously, at OSG.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Motorbikeing as well.
Yeah, so I've raced motorbikes like UK and then Italy, Spain and the Netherlands. And the Isle of Man. I've raced on the roads on the Isle of Man. Truly tame, not the TT.
I think we need to up our Lucy.
Yeah, I know. I need to think of something else now.
Me too. What about like curling? You know, sliding stuff across ice. Could we do that?
I'd give anything a go. I've slid across ice on my face on like motorbikes and snowboards. So most of the injuries come from mountain biking, motorbiking, and snowboarding. So
you left out bodybuilding as well.
Yeah, that was just more for fun, really.
Oh yeah, I get extra lean just for fun.
Yeah, I'm not extra lean now, trust me. Oh no, yeah, not lean. We got next pump is under 82, so I've got to get lean.
It keeps the heat down, Claire.
Sorry?
It keeps the heating in the house down. It's all right.
Oh yeah, extra insulation.
Saves the money.
You always look fantastic, Claire. Anyway.
Oh, thank you. Not at the moment. Stones. I've got all the stone kisses.
That's all Jenny's work. That is.
I was going to say that. Jenny, what about yourself?
I'm really crap at stuff like this. So the only thing that I can think of that might surprise you is I did ballet when I was a very small child for quite a few years.
That's pretty.
I can actually imagine that.
Although, like a really small person, I wasn't good at it. I hated it. I was kind of forced into it. But yeah, could you imagine?
More than
I can't imagine you like that.
Yeah.
I actually think I could imagine you doing Swan Lake.
I'm going to pay good money to see Jenny wearing a pair of pink tights and a tutu. It's just the best ever.
We can talk about the price.
Next time I see you, I'm just going to make you go on point, like every time. Like expect you to walk up to me like on your tippy toes.
Yeah.
That's probably
Like
why
this.
it makes your Olympic lifting and stuff that you do so good, because you can get right up onto your toes to get in under the bar.
Maybe, but I'm not going to point. Imagine that. You'd fall over. I couldn't do that. A lot of years ago, like 6 years old kind of age.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never did it as a
That
guy.
wasn't that long ago, I'm sure, Jenny.
No, like, it was
Was that like about 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to add on any fun facts now that we've heard all the fun facts that Claire has?
What about
No.
you?
My fun facts? I don't know. I was thinking about this the last day. I used to be able to touch my nose with my tongue, but I can't do that no more.
Oh, I can do that.
Can you?
Oh.
If anybody's watching, just screenshot that right now. That's coming up on your next big birthday.
Yeah.
I used to do Irish dancing, and I played county for Gaelic football, if you even know what that is. That's about it.
Isn't Gaelic football really rough as well? Like, isn't it quite like a lot of contact and stuff?
Well, if you play it the way I was taught and the way I play it, yeah, it is quite rough. I'm not that proud of my anger issues, but it gets it out one way or another. Like
They come in handy.
I accidentally broke somebody's arm in 3 places kicking a ball, but I kicked the ball, not their arm. Their arm just got in the way. That was my cue.
Okay,
I'm proud of it, but it's probably the only interesting thing about me. Well, so yeah. So how's everybody's training going? Because I know some of you have a few competitions coming up.
So I accidentally, well, no, it's probably not accidentally, stupidly entered the Clash qualifier in the Clash in the UK comp. I entered the under 82, but didn't want to diet, so did the under 91. I won the under 91. It was only for fun, but it was good. And then I thought they wouldn't let me swap from the under 91 to the under 82. They said I had to do the online qualifiers. So I did the online qualifiers and came second, which nearly killed me at Christmas. But I may have completely misjudged just how ridiculously good the girls who compete at Clash are. So that is my next comp in 8.5 weeks. And poor Jenny is desperately trying to get me vaguely close to even being able to pick the shit up.
You'll be fine. You're so competitive. You're going to get there.
Especially being 8 weeks out, and if you're even at least 80% of the weights, you'll be flying on the day. Like, that's how I see it anyway.
If they hadn't put the log in, I'd feel moderately comfortable that I'll at least make it. The log is just, yeah.
What is the log?
91 kilos for reps.
And where are you sitting around at the minute?
Not 91 kilos. Weight-wise, possibly getting close to 91. Putting it above my head, not. No.
How's Jenny getting you ready for it?
I do 3 sessions a week that include log.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can't lift my arms above my head.
Oh, you've got a shoulder. Was it you broke your shoulder or something in the past, haven't you?
Yeah,
that kind of gets in the way sometimes.
3 times, and it just doesn't function very well. And I mean, it's getting better. We'll know in about 8 weeks, I guess.
And what are the events for 8 weeks? What are the events for it?
Say that again, sorry.
What are the other events for it?
So we've got log. We've then got a frame deadlift carry. So 3 deadlifts carry, 3 deadlifts carry. We've got keg toss. Turns out I'm shockingly shit at that too. Apparently I'm supposed to, according to Jenny, jump and explode. I discovered I don't do that. I thought I did. The videos say otherwise. We have a heavy sandbag, carry, frame, yoke pushback, heavy keg carry, and then the final event is like a stone off over yoke. Just basically keep going until, and every time someone drops out, they throw a new person in, so it just gets harder.
I like stuff like that, like a Shark Tank.
Yeah, I love stones, but I think that's going to be brutal. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah, I don't.
The whole comp sounds really tough. Actually, it's the events are like epic. Like it will be amazing to just be a part of it. Though I think it's going to be it is going to be huge, isn't it, next year? So, or this year, I mean.
I think everyone keeps telling me that because it's televised, it's the ESPN and that do it, and they can kind of control a little bit the schedule. And by all accounts, it literally is almost literally back-to-back events.
Yeah.
So you do one, you come off, you get changed, you go back out, and you're doing the next one. They said last year, like 2 of the events, they didn't even get a warm-up; they just went straight into them. Yeah, I think.
Well, it's an experience. It'll be great.
I'm actually really excited because it is cool, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
And you get to go away to America. It is in America, isn't it?
Yeah, it's South Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, class. It'll be nice and sunny.
Sorry?
It should be nice and sunny.
Yeah, apparently really toasty hot and you melt. That's what they told me from last year. It was boiling, and they all got like heat stroke and everything. So it's kind of got everything going for it, you know. Of like, yeah,
Really?
yeah, and literally it is like the best girls ever just out there doing it. The only person I think that's not at the top is like Donna, because Donna's already doing everything else. So and then after that, I think I'm with you, Lucy, at UK's.
That's my UK's strongest is my first comp actually, end of May, that one. Yeah, that's my first comp of the year, so I've got a nice little build up. Really, I don't really have to stress too much now, and it's a massive contrast from last year because I think I did 9 comps last year and I've got like 4 I think this year, so 3 or 4, so I'm actually feeling really chill about it at the moment.
Yeah, it's better. I think I did 11 last year, and yeah.
And you're meant to have, were you meant to have a year off or take time off or something after Christmas?
Me?
Yeah.
I had 2 weeks, I think. What did you call it, Jenny? Transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks of transition, where basically I didn't die.
That
was season, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's good off season. It's enough.
Yeah. I'm in like about 6 months of off season, it feels like.
It's nice.
It has been a nice change actually, because I just went from comp to comp last year, and I think all of a sudden it's like, oh, what am I actually doing with myself today? Like I can just chill and there's not as much stress on training, and I can just do some nice light stuff. I've had knee problems, so get my knee working again and just get back into it. It's quite I think I fell out of love with it towards the end. By the end of last year, it was like I'm just done, I don't want to touch strongman, but now I'm like edging to get back into it. So it's been a good break really. I've still got a little while left before I even have to prep, but I can start moving events from next week, so that'll be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How's your knee, Lucy? Is it doing better?
I had an MRI on Monday and the results came back, and basically I don't need an op, and I've got severe arthritis. Basically they called it some posh name, but I've got severe arthritis in like 3 sections of my knee. So it's just something I'm just going to have to manage with training, but I've seen a physio and I've been doing like loads of stretches and stuff, and my range of motion has improved so much in like about 3 weeks that I mean I've been ignoring it for 18 months, so I should have probably done all of this at the start and it probably wouldn't have caused me as much ag, but it's but it's getting much better, and I'm starting to be able to squat again to parallel and slightly below, so it's good. I'm actually really happy. So I did some squats today actually.
Has Shane got you doing some like weird and wonderful things to get the movement back for mobility?
Not really. He sent, so my Friday sessions, or the one I did today because I was behind, is all a bit of so it was bringing back squats in, and then all the rest of it is all about knee stability. So I do front foot elevated step ups and some Cossack squats as well to get my hips and stuff moving, which was quite shock to the system because I didn't realise how inflexible I am. And just loads of just little exercises, really. I've got a new warm-up routine I do as well. And then I have to do some stretches in the 90-90 position. So both your legs are, like you sit on the floor and your legs are both in 90 degrees. And then I can stretch it out and it stretches all down my hip. And I have to stretch out my calves as well. And it just loosens everything up around the knee. So it takes me about 40 minutes to warm up just for a squat session, I think.
Mobility movement really is so underrated, like in strength sport, or like that I've noticed anyway. I don't know. I'm only starting to take it a bit serious myself because I can't even. Some of the movements I can't even move my hips around in circles sometimes.
I don't know if you find this, Jenny, but whenever I've had mobility in my programs and stuff, that tends to be the session that I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'll leave that one. But the more I do it recently, the more I'm like, mobility actually really helps. It actually really works. So I don't know if you find that with like the people that you train, but like, is that something you find like that people kind of skip on, or do they just tell you they do it?
It kind of depends on their personality. So a lot of people will skip it if they're kind of, their attention is focused solely on just doing mad shit in the gym and getting strong. Like they'll miss it, but then they'll get an injury inevitably because you will if you're not looking after the subtlety of your joints. And then they start doing it because they have to, and then they're like, wow, everything feels so much better. I get into better positions, I feel stronger. I'm like, yeah, weird that, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly what I'm like.
We did so I did Brits last year, which was a really bad idea for me, to be honest. It was just I was already broken at the point I went into Brits, but I was so determined I was going to do it, and I did it, and it completely broke me. And I think we did at least 4 weeks where my sessions were just called let's unfuck.
You really felt the benefit. Really wasn't playing to you because you're like into extreme sports, you've done extreme things, you really like to push yourself hard, but they were quite the contrary to what floats your boat in the gym and in sport. But it was just very, you were fucked, mate.
Yeah. And like Jen said, like, I mean, I do it religiously now, and everyone knows I get my balls out, and that sounds awful. That really came out. So
I hope they're big balls, Claire.
What kind of balls?
Yeah, I feel like now I need to show you this because otherwise I get one of these balls out.
Okay.
Oh, what do you call it? The meditating balls or whatever you call them.
Yeah, like it's a lacrosse ball thing, and I do lots of like poking it in awkward places and uncomfortable places, and like aeroplanes and various other different things. But for those 4 weeks, I don't think I could have done anything but that. And like Jenny said, it's finally when you do it, you go, oh, this shit works.
And do you find, Jenny, whenever like, do you want to scream at people when people don't listen to you and then they come back to you and be like, I should have done that like 6 weeks ago, and you're like, I fucking told you to do it?
I mean, an initial thought of that, but ultimately I'm the same fucking idiot, so I do all of this myself. I don't warm up. For the last couple of months, like in off season, I haven't warmed up. I've just stepped into the gym and I've just picked up a bar and done what I'm going to do really light and gradually warm up. I haven't done any mobility and I haven't really suffered for it, but I will in time. I just, you just can't be arsed with it until you have to do it. And then again, I can't blame people for being people and the kind of person that I am as well. I just can't do it. But yes, initially I'm like, you're a dickhead. Okay. We're all dumbasses.
Yeah.
That's why we do this sport, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the bit is, I mean, like I say Jenny's a wizard, and half of my gym now do things that Jenny's told me to do. That like they've seen me doing, go, why'd you do that? And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. She just said to do it, so I'm doing it. And other times I'll look it up and go, why am I doing that? But like clever shit that Jenny does. I can't train yoke. If I train yoke, it just ruins me, whether it's my CNS or my back or anything. And if I put yoke in, then after that I'm absolutely screwed. But we did every other possible thing, and Jenny put so much stuff in with the barbell bar, and everyone was like laughing at me in the gym. I mean, they took the piss out of me so much for doing all this weird shit with the barbell bar, but it got my core strength up to the point that when I got to OSG, I did the car carry, and I just never expected I would be able to do that. But it's Jenny's wizardry of doing different shit that crosses over and makes it work.
Yeah, and Jenny, where do you learn this yourself? Because I've seen Donna doing some weird and wonderful things too, and I'm assuming it comes from yourself, because I know Donna says like she if she's not programmed, sometimes she just goes off on one.
Yeah, like to have a fun session. I guess I watch a lot of content. Follow a lot of like respectable coaches from around the world doing different sports. I don't stick to just strongman. You know, the sport is very young, so if I was to just focus all of my interest in that style of training, you know, you wouldn't get an awful lot of insight to any of the finer details. But it's just trial and error, really. Like, I like to play around in the gym. Ultimately, it is playtime. It's adult playtime, playing around in the gym, doing cool shit and enjoying yourself. I like to have a play about, so I test a few things in the gym myself. And Donna's like a crash test dummy for me as well. I've programmed her for, I think, since 2016, and we just kind of throw back and forth. So I guess I just collect stuff from a lot of people, try it out, see what happens. If it doesn't work, remove it and move on to something else. But you just accumulate like a database in your head of certain things with certain people seem to work to fix this particular problem. You try and follow that again, rather than trying to start out new with every single person. You try and find like patterns and links with people. It's probably not very effective, but it works most of the time. So yeah.
Because I've seen that is it a bamboo barbell or something, and you've had I think it was either I seen you do it or Donna or Claire might have seen you doing it with the elastic bands with kettlebells hanging from it. So I think it might have been bench or something, or you
do all that, but the way that it's designed is so that you can only load weights onto it via bands. So that kind of they bend at the hang, they'll bounce up and down with whatever movement you're doing. They'll move from side to side anytime that you're getting kind of lateral movement as well. So they essentially oscillate. They kind of shake around, make loads and loads of instability that you've then got to resist against, and you've got to fight against that. So in turn, it builds a lot of structural integrity. It works a lot of smaller muscles that help to stabilize joints, and it's brilliant for core strength and health. It's a fantastic training tool and a wonderful thing to move to if you're hurt and you beat up and you need to practice these movement patterns, but you know, you get fixated on the load and that you're not strong, and you see that you're strong. It's a good way to kind of feed the ego a little bit. So you can load weight on it, and it's a different kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll fucking struggle with it.
So much. So they would laugh at me. So I had everything from I squat with it, I strict press with it, overhead press with it, one arm press with it, lunge with it, literally do all sorts with it. And you get all the big lads coming over like looking at me with like, you know, sometimes I'd have like 20 kilos on each end, and I think the bar itself is about 5 kilos. You got about 45 kilos doing a strict press, and you're shaking, literally going up, and you see the lads like, but they're absolutely dynamic and explosively strong. Get them on it, 3 reps, and literally they don't need to think about that stability strength, because they're so strong they can explode it up. Put them on that, made them strict press it, and I was out repping them. I was like, but I think Jenny will vouch for the marching on the spot with it on your back. Is if you ever want to laugh at people, that is the best laugh ever. Because it gets such momentum. I just set off around the gym because I can't control it, and I was literally just wandering around and then just collapsed on the floor.
Oh
It was
no.
brilliant.
Yeah, it does bring a lot of humour to the gym as well. So it's a fun, different way to use. It's fucking amusing whether you're using it. Like Claire, you were laughing at yourself a lot of the time and like pissing yourself on the fucking training videos, and you know it amuses everybody around you. But it's yeah, it's just good fun. It's just something different to play around with. If you've got it available, that's brilliant. If you don't, you can kind of replicate it with a, you know, like a PVC pipe that you see CrossFit boxers have for warm-ups and stuff for Olympic lift. Or you could just use bands on a normal barbell. It won't work the same because the bar is not flexible like the bamboo bar, but you get a similar effect. It'll just not be as much of a kick-off. It won't be as much fun.
That sounds
Jenny,
good.
It does sound good. Jenny, where your last competition was Brits as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How did you get on at that?
I came second. I think I'd have come third if Rachel had have still been in it, but she pulled out. Was it a calf issue or?
Yeah, I think she'd torn her calf, hadn't she?
And something like that. And yeah, I came second. It's what I expected, and I'm just happy to still be sitting in the podium after taking so much time off. You know, the sport has changed since I left it, and I've moved down a weight class, but fuck me, they're strong as shit, and I have to work. You know, I can't be a bum about it. And if I want to win, I'll probably have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. I just yeah, it's remarkable. It's very admirable how good people are now, because bloody hell.
One of the things, Jenny, having seen you there at Brits and like watched you compete, and it's something I say a little bit about myself, is that being able to compete is one of the biggest factors about actually being a strong woman. I see so many people that I would say are much stronger than me when I like look at them and what they can do, but turning up on the day and knowing how to compete, knowing how to apply yourself on the day is such a different skill. Yeah, there's girls that you see that fall apart when they get there. They flap, they faff, they haven't got the kit sorted, they kind of Lucy, and it's like I always say to girls, you know, especially girls that are coming up and starting and having a go, and they go, oh, you know, I'm going to save myself for that competition. And I say, go and do one before, even if it's light. Go and try. Don't set yourself to go and try and win at something, but go and have a go, because the experience you get from competing is like nothing you can get from the gym. Then that going up there on the day and stepping up onto the platform and doing something. And I could see that then, you know, you were calm, you were chilled, nothing was phasing you. And, you know, there were other girls running around flapping and stuff. And I think half of that is you just walked in there and like, yeah, I've got this shit covered. I can do this.
Well, it's practice, isn't it? We all know how to train, and we can be good at the events in the gym, but it's ultimately how you keep yourself together on the day and how you perform. So I've had practice, you've had practice. That's why you can kick ass in competition, because you have had so much fucking practice in it. And the more you do, the better you get at it. I completely agree with you. If saving yourself for one competition and putting all of your eggs in that basket is just, it's not helpful, because, you know, what if you wake up in a shitty mood and you just like, it happens to the best of us. I've had shitty competitions, you know, you just wake up and you're a dumbass. But that's the one thing you're doing that you've thrown the whole year away based on that one performance.
Yeah.
So you're right though. The sport is about, like, you have to compete really to know what the sport is about, and it's fucking ace. And once you can kind of get over, you know, the intricacies of where you're placing and stuff, and just be absorbed in the day and understand the layout of it, so you can kind of organize your brain based on where you need to be at what time. Then you can really like absorb the people around you and the atmosphere and just enjoy it, and then perform well as well. It's so satisfying. And it's I can't think of anything in the world that makes me feel more alive than competing in Strong Woman. It's thrilling.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think like OSG and that the whole thing for me was like that. It was a bit overwhelming to a degree, and you know, I'd have liked to have had, and I think Lucy said the same, had more time to kind of enjoy it, because especially when it's your first time, you're there, you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And you feel a bit like, but that experience now is like, now you're just like, I want to go back. I want to do it again. And I want to soak that up. And now I know how that works. I want to do that. But I mean, we had a pretty fun week leading into OSG, which just made things a little bit entertaining.
It helped. It was helpful with the hurricane, wasn't it? So that was an experience in itself. But I think I completely agree with the both of you, though. Like I kind of obviously started Strong Woman, and then like within like a year, like when I did the deadlift, I hadn't really competed a lot, so I wasn't really that well known at that point. And I think and that's when I first hurt my knee, so I didn't really compete for the rest of the year. And then I came out last year I was like, I've got to do all the comps, I've still got to qualify for everything, so I'm going to do as much as possible. And I really realized quite early on how inexperienced, not like I've competed all my life, but how inexperienced I was at competing in Strong Women. And it's just a completely different vibe to a lot of other sports, I think. Like you there's so many highs, like you've got to build yourself up, then you come back down after each event, and like the energy that consumes, and then trying to control that all day. It was something that really took me a while to get used to last year. And I think I learned by the time we got to Brits and Arnold's UK one, I think I've got to a point where I was like enjoying myself. And then Worlds, I kind of went to shit a little bit with my nerves, but and questioned everything that I've ever learned about myself. But I think that was just more because of the experience. I think I put more of an expectation on that one word, that it was Worlds, than I did, and that's why I put so much pressure on myself, when in reality it was another competition with similar events to what I've done all year, and I should have been able to perform, but my head just wouldn't allow me to do what I wanted it to do, basically. So I think I think you're right. The more that you compete, the better it is, and the easier it becomes. You realize that you can do it.
And I think too, Lucy, like you don't realize how amazing you did. Like for somebody like with very little experience, or just in the outside world, like you placed, wasn't it, fourth at OSG?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fourth is still absolutely fucking incredible. Like I would hope to even make it into the top 10. You know, like fourth is it's nothing to be laughing about, or it's not nothing to be joking about. Like so. But
I
you're
know,
right,
I
like
think,
whatever's in it's you on the day too, isn't it?
yeah. I always talk myself down a little bit, and at fourth in my first year competing there was good. It was, to be honest, if at the start of last year, if I'd have said to myself, you're going to come fourth at Worlds, I'd have laughed. And I know that at the beginning of last year I said to Shane, I just want to come top 8. Like that'll be fine. I'll be well happy with that. And then as the year progressed, it got to a point where I was like, I could actually do all right here. I've got a chance, like, of podium. And then I was like, oh, podium will do. And then about 3 weeks out, I was like, I could actually win this. I got to a point where I was like, I could actually win this. Like, I think it was the first time I kind of really truly believed in myself, but it was a bit too late in the prep to have that mindset. I think I needed that from the start. Because I think I talked myself down on a few of the events, or like my weaker events, and I still had those nagging doubts on the day, I think. But if I'd have gone in with that mindset at the beginning, like, this is good comp for me, I do have a chance, it would have been much better. But fourth is nothing to be laughed at. And I do kind of talk it down, but it is, like, I am proud of myself, actually, and I don't say that very often. I'm proud of myself for going out there. I went on my own. I was sharing with Donna. We had a great time, and we spent a lot of time with Claire and Ryan, and it was just, the experience as a whole was amazing anyway. So I think it's just, yeah, I just love this sport for what it provides you in that sense as well.
She survived my driving.
You were great at driving.
I really
Claire was like our mum the whole time we were out there.
had like a giant pickup truck, and it was pretty epic because of the hurricane and everything. We were doing these like wild shopping trips, and it had no back on the pickup, so we had all the shopping in the back, just sliding around everywhere. And then we were like zooming around, and it turns out I'm quite good at U-turns when there's coming, which was pretty scary. I didn't get them killed in one of those hickey, weird, out of the way petrol stations that we stopped.
Yeah, that was a weird experience actually, that petrol station.
I just stayed in the truck with the engine running and in gear, ready to go. You know,
To be fair, like I probably wouldn't have. I wouldn't have approached you. She's looked like mean ass bitches.
I think we were a bit of a talking point when we all walked in there. They were like, "Whoa!"
it was. I mean,
some big people.
Yeah, it was an awesome trip in that sense. You know, stressful at times, but absolutely awesome. Yeah.
Oh god, definitely. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, preferably without the hurricane.
Yeah, definitely. I want more sunshine. I need to come away with a tan next time. That would be nice.
Yeah, I just use bikinis as extra weight to carry there and back. Never put. Yeah. You couldn't really put it on. We didn't have a beach anymore. The beach was gone. So yeah, not much need for a bikini really.
No. It was great.
Are you going to compete this year, Jenny?
Yeah, I'm waiting till England's again. Just do the same ones. England's, then Britain's, and then take time off again. I don't really want to do anything else. Can't be asked.
It's all that Olympic lifting stuff. So as long as you're not telling me you're gonna you're going with Chloe and doing Olympic lifting, are you?
No, I couldn't do that at all. It's too much for me to learn, like right from scratch. Absolutely not. I've been working on split jerking so I can get my overhead press up. So technically I am working on Olympic lifts. I just don't want to compete in the sport. It's a bit, it's very similar to powerlifting, and it's just really boring.
Formal. Yeah. Too many rules and perfect technique. Yeah.
I can't do perfect. I'd rather.
Sorry.
Fun.
How come you did take a wee bit of time out from competing?
I basically was done. You know, I reached the top of my weight class and the sport at the time. I bowed out the year that OSG came along. So 2016 was the return of World's Strongest Woman, and it was one open weight class. I was invited. I came like 11th or 13th, I can't remember. And then 2017 in the March, I won the Arnold Amateur Championship, which was like, that's all I knew as the World Championships at the time. I got an invite to OSG for the first OSG in the November. And, you know, I'd already decided, you know, I'm going to do the best I can in this sport. And if I win the World Championship, like, I don't need to do anything else. So I didn't want to. And then, you know, I broke up with my boyfriend, and there was a lot of changes going on that year, and it was just all a little bit much. So yeah. I think when you stick so much of your identity on one thing that you do, you can't. Once you take that away, it leaves you a little bit fucking confused with what direction you should go. And if I could kind of go back in time and speak to myself there and then, I'd be like, don't walk away from it. Just don't take it as seriously, and, you know, prioritize your relations and, you know, the other things that you do in your life. Because I literally threw everything into that sport, and that's why I did so well. But it was damaging as well. Bit of a breakdown in the summer after the last England's that I did, and it was just shit. I just needed time out. I needed time away from it. Like Lucy said, you know, she competed so many times last year that she was left feeling like she didn't really want to do the sport anymore, and that's that's what I'd done. I'd just laid all of my expectations on winning everything that I did until I won the pinnacle of the sport.
Yeah.
And then like, that's it. I'm just going to be like happy and successful. And I wasn't, because I took the step back. I don't know. I put all of my eggs in that basket. I should have been working on what's next. What do I move on to? And I never really discovered that, like my career, which is still the sport. And then I realized I'm kind of out of touch with the sport. So what should I do? And I'm bored in the gym. So then I thought, under 73 kilos sounds like a nice body weight for me, because I always struggled to stay competitive in 82s. I never exceeded 82 kilos. Like, I'm naturally sitting around 73, 74 kilos without, being in a surplus and really pushing the food. So it was hard to keep there. And I guess that probably added to the struggle and the reason why I needed to step out. And then you deal with the whole like, oh, I used to be so much bigger and so much stronger and I've lost all this weight. So the 73 class has given me a competitive edge again. It means that I don't have to force feed myself, because I fucking hate that. And I've always struggled to hold weight. A lot of people struggle to get weight off. That's the differences between us all. We've all got our own struggles to deal with, and that one was mine. So Ant proposed that he wanted to introduce the 73 class. There wasn't many people in it, because you've either got to go up from 64 or you've got to go down from 82, and a lot of people aren't ready for that transition yet, but I was, because I was 74 kilos weighted and ready. And it was really fucking fun, and I'm really pleased that I started again last year. And I never really would have thought about stepping back into it had it not been, a circumstance like that. We need more people. Here's a new weight class. There I am. So, in short, to sum up, just need time off.
But yeah, sometimes though, taking time off is, yes, you need it for your mental health and to figure out what you want to do. But it does really benefit you, because then it also gets you have time to sit back. If you focus, as you say, so solely on the one thing, on the strong woman for you, sitting back, and you can look and just go over things in your head, and then eventually you realize, yeah, that's what I still want to do, or no, just move on to something different. So if you need the time off, you need the time off.
That's it.
And it's a bit of self-care.
That's ultimately what it was, yeah, massively so, because I'm not very good at doing that.
I think a lot of it as well is it becomes like, although it is a hobby, like it is just a hobby at the end of the day, we're not making money from it, but we're like working full-time jobs and still coming out and training as just as hard as anybody else that's doing it full-time, or that would have the opportunity to do it full-time like in other sports, and we're having to do all of that with normal life stresses as well on top of it. Whereas if we were like full-time athletes, you might not have quite so much you wouldn't have to worry about being at work or whatever. So I think that makes a massive difference, because I know that if I'm busy at work, or like if I've had like something shit happen in front of me or whatever, and I've tried to train, that really affects me. And you can't always be where you want to be when you train. Well, you're not always where you want to be when you train anyway, but life does affect the way that you train. And I think we forget sometimes that this is a hobby still, and it is still something that we're not making money from. And although there's opportunities now, and it is getting much better, and it is, but we've still got to have lives and jobs away from it. And I think sometimes that's what kind of you forget, especially when you're starting to reach the top side of it. It's not just, it's like I describe it as having a second job sometimes, because I feel like sometimes I'm putting more time into this than my actual job. It's ridiculous.
It is challenging, like I do at the moment, because I still do a fair amount of cardio. I don't think you'll ever get rid of the bodybuilder in me in that sense. Also because I need to start cutting a bit of weight. And when like I have a full-time job. It's normally sat pretty much here, but you know, I do travel and stuff. But getting up in the morning, doing the cardio, then being at my desk for like 7, half 7 in the morning, and then working, and then finishing work, driving, picking up. We're lucky now. We've got like an awesome gym where we get to train now, but it's 45 minutes for us minimum to get there.
Yeah.
And the other day I said session went okay. I was a bit knackered, to be honest. I was up at 5, and I got in from the gym at like just gone 10 at night. And you kind of go, that's 3 days a week for me, looks like that. And then like fitting the cardio in around, and people go, well, why don't you like do this and do that? And I'm like to have time. But that's my choice. I choose this as a hobby, and that's what I do, and I love it. I think I probably don't have the benefit of being able to take time out, quite simply because I think my ability to get better versus my aging process is kind of overlapping, and at the moment I'm just about surpassing the aging process by getting better. But I think if I took a year out, or had too much time off, my ability to come back, for me the last 3 years physically is just changed. Sort of when I was sort of 45, 46, and I'd see people like moaning about me, I don't know what your problem is. I'm athletic, I can do that shit. And then literally the last sort of 3, 4 years, things like flexibility, the strain on my body, recovery time, things like that, it just is brutal. I mean, I used to, whenever you say to me, oh, you'll pay for that when you're older, I thought they meant 70. Not like when I hit like 48, 49, 50. But we've got more pills and potions and creams and everything in the bathroom than you could imagine. It is pretty tough on the body, but like Lou said, we choose to do it, and it's our hobby, and we bloody love it. Very lucky to do it.
Yeah, we are.
It's a fucking privilege
to
be and I'm assuming, Claire, you wouldn't change anything.
No, I mean, there's days where I lay in bed in the morning and I debate, like, can I actually turn over to get out of bed? I've had to roll out backwards a few times. Particularly, oddly, everyone said to me after I did like my deadlift. So I sit there, I'm dead chuffed with my deadlift, and then I joined a bloody call with Lucy, don't I? But
it was amazing.
It was like
it was class.
I never thought I could do that. If you told me I would do that deadlift, I'd be like, no. And everyone kept saying to me afterwards, oh, like, were you broken in that? I was like, no, I was back in training the next day. And then I'll do something stupid. Like the other week last week or 2 weeks ago, I went, oh, throwing bags, I'll have a go with that. I'll have a bit of a play. I just sent Jenny a message, went, screwed my elbow. And it's literally, I'm at that age now, you know what they say is like, when you were younger, you could fall off a building backwards and you'd dust yourself off. Now you sneeze funny and you're crippled for a week. And at my age, it is that daft. Get off the sofa funny and you're like, oh God, there's a rib. Oh no.
And talking about your deadlift, Claire, as well, did you do you had just done a competition or something before that, the week or two before that deadlift, didn't you? Was that OSG you done and then you done the deadlift?
Yeah, so I did OSG. And then
you not only just did OSG, you won. So don't be playing that down too much, because we haven't even gotten as far as talking about you are the world's strongest woman in your category, and you're actually aren't you double world's strongest woman?
No, so I had the thing that this year they did. So the masters category is over 40. They are bringing in an over 50s category, but last year they ran it in one. And so it was like all in one class, because it's a struggle to get like lots of people interested in stuff. There was a good few of us in the over 50s actually, but so I came third in the over 40s, and then I was first, obviously, over 50 on that basis. And I laugh about it and I say, I'm the strongest old bird in the world. You have moments where you sit there and go, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, actually, you know that. And it just like hits me sometimes. But I'd done that. And then all I'd been doing for like months before was just axle deadlifts. And I won't curse her because she's on the call with me. Tabatas, which literally are the most brutal way of doing deadlifts in the world. And then afterwards, we had at the gym. So I train at like Spartan Training Centre, which is like, and we said, oh, we're going to have our first comp of the year, which was obviously it's going to be a stones because it's run by Spartan Atlas Stones, Jason. So we had to have like a max stone and a max deadlift because Jason loves deadlifts. So there's a load of people came to want to try and break records and stuff. And I just wanted to see if I could beat the record that I'd done earlier in the year of like my own record, which was I did like a 2:22. And then I looked at the Welsh Masters record, which was I think 2:30 or 2:35, and I was like, that might be possible. And I pulled that, and I pulled the 2:50, and everyone went, that was easy. And then you kind of go, it felt quite easy actually. I might go again, and I pulled 2:60, and I don't know how, where, or why, but I did it, and it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I remember watching it. I was like a little bit emotional when I watched you pull that. It was so good. It was so smooth. I just love a good deadlift. I'm like, oh, good, go on, girl.
It's just weird to hear, like, it's like that kind of thing. Everybody there watching and cheering, you just think, I can't fail this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's. I know I had a suit on, so it's not really. It's not real.
But a strong man wear loud suits.
It's a strong man lift. If you're
Yeah.
allowed it, you use it. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could use a suit. I just can't get used to it. Like, if I could, I would. I'm just like one of the, I've just never been able to understand the dynamics of a suit. But if you can use it, go for it. It's allowed. Like, why not?
I can't get a suit to fit my ass and my thighs.
I did actually rip the suit doing it. Yeah. As in pulling it on for you. I don't know how much I get. I mean, I obviously do get something from the suit, obviously. But the biggest thing is it just means the next day I can walk. If I deadlift normally without a suit, that's really it's much harder. Yeah.
And does Jenny train you different ways for the deadlift? What way were you training her, Jenny, for the deadlift?
So I kind of throw these things at Jenny.
Oh, do you?
So kind of like we came out of OSG and I went, yeah, and I'm just going to do a deadlift thing next weekend. And Jenny's like, oh, okay. And I think on the Thursday, or no, the session for my Friday, she put in like some fairly heavy deads. So I went, I'm going to pull a deadlift the weekend. Can I skip that session? She was like, yeah, okay. And then I was like, yeah, it's max lift. Okay. So yeah, I kind of like messaging Jenny every so often, just going, by the way, I've entered something else randomly stupid.
Never stupid, mate. Look at the smile it puts on you. It's all worth it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Unless they talk about deadlifts, if you got a date yet for your new world record?
No, I haven't sorted anything yet, but
I'm going to be donating money to because Shane put up a thing a
so
couple of months ago.
Yeah,
so that she can get paid for it. And so I'm just waiting for that email.
Yeah, a little while ago we was trying to plan it, and then I was kind of like I was prepping for OSG, and I was like, this is probably not the right time to prep for a max dead. And but there's so many times when people have gone to me, like the Arnolds and UK, they was like, oh, I come pull a deadlift, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like they offered me to pull it a few weeks before, but they never got back to me, so I didn't realise that I was actually doing it. I'd kind of half agreed, and I was like, no. When it came to the comp day, I was like, no, it's fine. And then I tried it the next day anyway, after pulling like 220 for like 12 or something. And I was like, no, this is bad. This is a bad idea. But I think if I get enough, it's not about the money. I'm like. I do it because I love it, and the deadlift is like something that I'm proud of, and I know that I've got a lot more to come. It's not going to stop at 300. It's not going to stop at 310. Do you know what I mean? I know what I'm capable of, but I've got to make sure I've always said it. I don't want to just be a deadlifter. I want to be a strong woman, and I think I kind of proved that last year with my placings and stuff. And I had a good run of comps, obviously, because not everybody was turning up to like the Brits and stuff, but you can only beat whoever turns up. And I think at Worlds, like I beat some of the girls that have beaten me in a lot of competitions this year, or in previous years. So I think I'm starting to prove myself in that sense. So while I'm on a roll, I'd like to carry on like trying to, like I want to be on the podium at Worlds, and ultimately I do want to win that, and that's the main goal. But I will fit in a deadlift at some point this year. That was a long-winded way of saying that.
It's like Lucy probably downplays a bit on the Worlds. Everyone that I spoke to that's been to Worlds in previous years and was there or saw it said that the Worlds last year was just on a different level. They said, you know, the standard over like, I think like lockdown, like locked people away and stuff and everything. And then everyone's coming through and kind of realized, you know what, this is not, it is a hobby for most people, but it's a proper, genuine sport for women now. And everyone's got coaches and they're training like, you know, Olympic athletes. They're not just going and doing random, like a bit of training here and there and throwing it in. And those girls were just, you know, just in a different league. And the whole, in every class that you were watching, you know, Donna did like amazing. She, you know, she had some problems and stuff, but you just look at that under 82 class and the standard that's in there. Literally through all the classes, the competition and the level and the standard just jumped up, and the number of entries, you know, you're fighting your way through. So you make a mistake on the first day, you're not making the final even, and that's really good. So to come fourth, you know, Lucy's like saying, yeah, I'm a bit master of understatement. Yeah, yeah, that was amazing. And I think people forget that because they kind of go, yeah, Lucy's the deadlifter. Whenever I say to someone like that, they go, oh, Lucy's the deadlifter. Yeah, the one that's really good at deadlifts, but also fourth strongest woman in the world, you know.
I think that's what I think I've always struggled with that, because I did the sport to be like I thought I wanted to be top, like one of the top women in the sport. I never expected to ever get a world record in anything. Like that was just a bonus, but it did become for a long time like Lucy the deadlifter, and that's fine. I'm happy to be known as a deadlifter, but just on the side you can be like, oh, but she is also a good strong woman, like she can do this as well. But I think the deadlift, I'm always going to be known for the deadlift, because I think that's going to be like something that I can hit some crazy sort of numbers on. And initially I was probably a little bit like hard on myself because I didn't want to just be known as a deadlifter. And I think that's I kind of was a bit insecure about that for a long time, actually, that everybody just thought of me as a deadlifter. So I only thought of myself as a deadlifter. That was the only event in a competition that I thought, oh, I'm going to go in and do well at that. Whereas everything else, I talked myself down. Whereas now I've started to actually realise that I'm actually better than I've ever thought I was, and I can actually perform like a lot better. And I know that I've got a lot more to come. So I think, yeah, I'm Lucy the deadlifter and the strong woman.
Right. Yeah.
It'll all come together. But yeah, I'm hoping what we need to do, girls, go on to fucking Giants Live and get them to let me do my deadlift at their deadlift champs. I've been pestering them, and I know loads of people have, and I'm gonna keep doing it until they let me
gotten back to you. Have they ever gotten back to you? No.
No, they've shared some of my deadlifts and stuff. I know, like some of the boys are really like keen to try and get it going, but I know Giants have got a lot of plans for us this year, so yeah, I think there's big things to come anyway. But I would love to just be given the opportunity to go and pull a deadlift at a Giants live show. So that's the mission. I'm just going to keep pestering them every week until they let me do it.
I love Hercules like you couldn't believe it. You know, I'm like, I've done it in one comp once, and we've now got one at the gym, and it's brilliant. And like last week, all the lads were out there doing it, and I think I beat them by I think it was nearly 40 seconds. And it was like, I just really want to have a go on the Giants Hercules and try it. I don't care. I don't even want to be on the stage. I'm not even fussing that. I just want to go and have a go at it and see how it feels. So yeah, you pest them for the deadlift. Just see if they'll let us come and do a training session. That would be a start.
Yeah, I'm sure Darren would be well open to have us up there. I think he's got to see what the women are about, really. Like, I mean, I think we need to start putting ourselves out there more and just trying to approach it ourselves rather than waiting for the opportunities always to come to us. I think
I think we're
sometimes we
too
need.
polite when it comes to stuff like that.
I think it's a woman thing, isn't it? Like, yeah, we can be too polite, and we just need to say, look, this is what I can do. I'm good at this, and there are girls out here that are like amazing. Let put us on that stage and let us show you what we do. And that's why the team comp was such an amazing show. Honestly, I've never been. I've never watched strongman. Like, I've always struggled with it a little bit because I'm like, I do it all the time in my downtime, so I don't watch it I don't watch it myself now. So that was the first show that I've watched in a long time where I was like, oh my god, this sport is incredible. Like, I was almost crying at every event, and I think the team show was like it was the kind of the new beginning for us, I think. And I think there's going to be huge shows to come because it was just so exciting. I've never screamed so much in my life, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. So I think there are big things to come off the back of that. You can't watch that and say, no, we're not going to have a women's show, because actually the women got the biggest cheers on the night. And you were there, Claire, weren't you, as well? And the women were just on fire. And I think, we need a show.
And I say this about women, and like sometimes I get a bit shot down about it, but it frustrates the hell out of me about there's lots of women working so hard to try and get like that equality, get that opportunity, get us out there. And a lot of the organisers are starting to take it on board now, and they're starting trying to like make an effort and get like the women up there, include them in the comps and stuff. It's taken a bit, but I think they're taking the punt on doing it for us. We've got to step up and show them that we do it, which is why last year, and I think like Lucy, someone went comp, I went, yeah, I'm in. Comp, yeah, I'll do that. But there's so many women that kind of go, oh no, I'm not, oh, I'm not quite good enough, oh, I don't know, or I'm a bit nervous. And I'm looking at them going, you're good enough. Just step in there, do it. Particularly when you've got qualifiers or stuff. And the concern is there's so that we're not diluting it too much now, because you've got like two natty federations, you've got Ultimate, you've got Brits, Arnold's, OSG. There's so many comps out there now, and but the girls really just need to turn up and do the bloody comps.
That's what I said to you, Nicole, wasn't it, when we met in Bangor? I was like, you just need to do it. Just get out there and get into it. And
that's right.
It was just got to just go and and you don't know until you try. And like, a lot of girls procrastinate over that side of things. And actually, even if you're not quite ready, you just got to go in there and have fun with it. And I think that's the main thing. Girls have just got to start stepping up now and just and seeing it for what it is, and wanting to be involved. And I think it is getting there. Like the intake in women, like over the last, I mean, my first comp was 4 years ago now, I think, and the difference in the number of women from then to now is crazy. I think my first Southern qualifier, there was like 4 of us for Brits.
It's just
or for England's then.
And there's so much opportunity for the women to do it, to do qualifiers and have a go.
Now.
But it's always, I think, like, you see the blokes are queuing up, desperate to get in and compete. And the women, in some cases, they're going and begging, people to come to qualifiers, because the women are almost like, well, if I'm not going to win, or I'm not going to place, or I'm not going to be able to lift that one, I'm not going to enter it. I think my third event last year, third comp I did, was I accidentally ended up at UK's. I entered the qualifier just because in Wales we couldn't get enough people to go, and I thought, if I enter it, maybe a few more might enter. And we did it, and I'm flipping won the qualifier and ended up going to UK's with like the likes of Lucy and stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I was like, stuff it, I'm getting a onesie, I'm going for it. And off I went and did UK's, and I was stuff, and there was no way I was picking that bloody dumbbell up. But I went there and it was just spectacular. And I just urge more women to just have a go. Do the pathways, or just do comps, just enter things, try stuff.
I think Ultimates has helped in the sense that like they've obviously started to give the women the more like of a stadium type show, like a proper production and all of that. And I think that they have helped actually to get the ball rolling with the women's side of the sport, and they have done a fantastic job on that. And I think like this year it's going to be held alongside the men's show, the UK, so I think we're basically like a warm-up act, but there'll be it's in a full stadium, and we get that's giving us the same opportunities as the men's, and I think that we're really getting there now, like, and I think that's fine. That's going to help get that interest, and a lot more of the girls will start thinking, I've got a chance of going here. And Ultimates is also all weight categories, all like you get to mix in. You never get that in shows, and I think it gives people opportunities to just be like, I'm strong. It doesn't necessarily have to be classified as a weight category or anything. You can be, I'm strong and I'm going to go and mix it with those top girls, and I'm just going to prove myself here. So I think that's an awesome way of doing it as well.
The Ultimates, I think, with that as well, because the events can often be a bit quirky. Sometimes it's not about, am I the best log presser? I mean, you'll always some of the traditional, I went last year and I'd done a 200k deadlift once, and we had 200k for reps, and I think 16 was it, Luce? 16 you did? Yeah.
I did 18. Yeah.
What's and I'm there and I'm like grinding my guts out to get like 2 in a bit. But there were other events like a tire flip and like quirky stuff that actually
they can really upset the balance, those sorts of events.
That's it. You don't have to be stereotypically strong woman comp experience. You can go like, a truck pull. Everyone can do a truck pull.
Hi, puppy.
Hello.
Oh, the dog's
Oh, look.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Millie's
got jealous now. Like, she's like, you're talking to other dogs.
Mine isn't even bothered. She's lying out cold behind me with her legs in the air.
Where are you going?
So now I'm being accosted. He's very heavy. It's like the ultimate ones is you've got the qualifiers to get to your country one. So there's a qualifier to get to Wales Strongest Woman. Well, there's not that many women in Wales. We haven't quite got the depth that England's got and stuff. And I just say to everyone, just enter it. Wales Strongest Woman in Cardiff, and we had such an event last year. I mean, the crowd was mad. It was brilliant. It was 31 degrees. It was pretty toasty, but it was just an awesome comp. And so you can end up there, and you're on telly. You get your lovely little lycra onesie. But these events are there, and if you do them, then people will see how good the women's comps are, and we'll get bigger stages. And it's progressed from last year doing our own thing to now being with the men this year. It's really good.
Yeah, you can definitely see the way it's headed. It's just making sure it stays that way. And I think that there's an onus on us to keep pushing and keep up with it, really, because we don't want it to die down. We don't want it to be just a phase. We want it to be like a real thing that really carries on for the future as well. Because it could be a big sport, and it should be a big sport, or a bigger sport than it is. Yeah,
because we are now where the men probably were about 10 probably even 10 15 years ago. We're kind of at that stage now where imagine where we'll be, where even Strong Woman will be in another 5 years. It'll the difference, I would say, would be incredible.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
all be actually pro, getting paid as a pro strong woman. And Lucy, you might still do your job because I know you love your job, but you might be doing it part-time.
Like the men's comps and stuff now, there's different leagues and stuff that are coming through. So you've got the SCL league, and guys like AD Monks runs the SCL England's and stuff, and he's now extended that to Britain's. So you've got another comp that's open, and they've got masters categories, and there's 40 blokes in the masters category. I mean, masters is really pushing through. We've got a group of masters women where we've got 40 masters women in the UK who are all keen to compete and stuff. but a lot of them are nervous because a lot of them are kind of under 64s, under 73s, under 82s. And I said, but just get in there and give it a go. You'll be surprised. You don't necessarily have to do that. It's all relative. And the more you do it, the more experience you'll get. So I think it's just brilliant that there's so many comps around now.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gone quiet.
I don't really know what else. We're chatting that much. I don't even know where else where I'm actually am.
I think we just kind of talked, haven't we?
Yeah,
we
but
just kind of talked at you.
we've kind of just went into each of the different categories at like in a flow. So I've everything down here, and I think we've more or less gone into nearly everything. Jenny, I just want to talk more though about you and the coaching. So obviously you coach two of the world's strongest women, and there's plenty of other females in that you coach. But is it just females you coach, or do you coach both men and women?
I coach men and women, but it's like 95% women. And to be perfectly honest, I prefer to work with women than work with men. I have given thought about it being exclusively like strong woman that I coach. And I probably will in the future, because I don't know, for a few different reasons, but yeah, the majority of them are female.
Jenny does coach one guy, and like some people haven't heard about him, and he is just phenomenal. And I think like if people saw like the standard of that and how skillful he is, I mean, he went to OSG, and I'd not heard of him before, and he's awesome, isn't he, Dan?
Oh, he's mint. He's put in an awful lot of work before I ever came along, and he's took a few years out from the sport. He was Britain's strongest man under 105, and he was pretty untouchable. Like a really, really naturally talented guy who's just got this ridiculous athletic ability he'd probably do well at most sports. Not many sports that require too much skill, I must say. Or certainly mobility, because he's atrocious at that. And so he took a lot of time off. He worked offshore, and he wanted to make a move back into the sport. He's got two boys, and he wanted his boys to see him compete and doing well in strongman again. And he never really followed a structured program before. He was kind of winging it, remarkably, like doing as well as he was in the sport. And now that he's on structured programming, it's quite scary. It's scary how strong he is now that he's got a clear direction where he's going. I think we'll see him do pretty well over the next few years. Hopefully, as long as he holds himself together, because he does fall to pieces quite often, because he's a dumbass. And then that's a total dumbass. But he's great. He's a strong dumbass.
So whenever it comes to programming and that, like, do you have, obviously most of the programming will be kind of set to the person themselves, but do you have a general one that you would go by to give out to kind of get to know? Do you have a questionnaire, or like what am I trying to say? To kind of get to know where the person is, how do you go about that, and knowing what to tell them, what to give them and stuff?
A structured way of doing it. Sometimes I send out questionnaires. Sometimes I just kind of ask to see a few weeks of the training that they're currently doing, and we'll just kind of back and forth through that. Sometimes I'll put them onto a specific program to see how they fare on it. So can't really answer that question, because I don't have one real way that I do all of the things. It's kind of like how we vibe, and we just kind of see how it goes initially. Ideally, I'm never bringing on somebody who is like, right, I want to work with you, and I've got a competition in 4 weeks' time, and I want to win it. Like, no, that's not really going to work. So as long as it's time pressured, then we just figure things out. It depends on how long they've been involved in the sport for, how long they've been training in general for. Like, Claire's got she is an old person in the training world. She has been training for fucking decades, man, and doing sport, competitive sport for decades as well. Like, if I'd have gone with a structured way of dealing with her in the first place, I don't even know how to go about finding out information from somebody who's, you know, got this massive training age. So we pretty much have, in a lot of the case, it's a lot of collaboration. Like, communication is very important. It makes the job a lot longer drawn out. You know, if you've got a big amount of clients, a big client base, it's harder to kind of condense your time, because you do have to have conversations with people. And I think when it works so well with people like Claire, with people like Donna and Chloe and stuff, you know, we're on a very friendly, chatting kind of wavelength, and they're very comfortable telling me whatever they need to tell me. If they're not happy with something, they'll voice it, and you know, they feel free to do that. Like, I'm not gonna bite their fucking face off for questioning anything that I do. They can absolutely question it, and there's a lot of trust there. So it's a collaboration, really. There's not one way that I do anything. It's it kind of just
You just have to kind of trust the process too, don't you?
Like,
Really?
Jenny, like, one of the big things is not just the coach. I mean, like, you know, she is the coach and stuff, and I didn't really know Jenny too well before, but you know, I like sometimes tell Jenny like the trauma's going on in my life over here, and it might be like she's like, oh god, you know, but that probably is impacting what's going on in my training. And if I kind of tell her that, and she knows what's going on, and I think that's sometimes what you don't get from maybe the more static coaches, if you like, that issue a program, say this is what you must do, and then you either do it or you don't. And I've seen like other coaches where they send back the feedback and you go, yeah, I kind of did what you said, but it didn't go very well. And the coach go, okay, here's next week's, do the same. You know, well, hang on,
You do need somebody
go very well,
don't you?
what's the point in doing the same again this week? And I guess like with Jenny, that communication bit is you can say it didn't go well, but I think that was because of this. So I'm either good to go again next week, or it didn't go well and this is pointless. You know, like when we tried the yoke, put it on, and Jenny just went to me, should we do that again? I was like, no. And we didn't.
We got around it, and if there wasn't that communication between us, you know, we were very comfortable with each other, and we'd have never figured that out. You know, you'd have continued battering yourself. I'd maybe think about, you know, light and heavy weeks and playing around with that, but it wouldn't have worked, because there's, you know, you carry a lot of injuries from stuff that you've done previously, and I discovered it was just not able to recover from that much compressive force on your spine. So we worked around it. We did those mad fucking marches with the band bell, which you know, they were the key component, one of the key components to Chloe doing that mad shit with the fucking car in 2021. That was insane. But she was so stable under that fucking thing. And, you know, she had problems with her hip that was traveling up into her back. It was causing her issues. So we were very careful with how we could actually practice yoke without dealing with the heavy competition weight. Because she just couldn't recover from it, and it was burying her. And look what she fucking did, and look what you fucking done by not actually even getting under a yoke for a prep. Like, there's ways around stuff, and if I didn't kind of deal with in that manner, like, things come up, like things emerge, and it's how you deal with it on a weekly basis is how they're going to react the next week. You know, they could either bury themselves further if I do nothing about it, or we can pull them out of a fucking hole that they're about to fall into, and then, you know, get back on the route to climbing again. So it's not very efficient. It's not, you know, time effective, but that's just the work week. It's effective, and it works with the individuals, because they need, like, they are individuals. You are all individuals. You have your own strengths, your own weaknesses. You have your own shit to do in life. You have your own triggers for stresses and stuff. we all have different shit that we have to deal with, and I guess I really like the problem solving aspect of coaching, because that's ultimately what it is. Like, that it's all just problem solving, and I really enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy Sudoku. Don't know why. I guess it's because of that. You're solving these. Really satisfying. Complete it. Great.
And have you got your own coach too, Jenny, or are you actually good at following your own, like your own plan and your own program, or do you need somebody that so it takes the pressure off you whenever you're doing your own comp prep and stuff?
I'd always kind of programmed myself and had like a little bit of back and forth from my previous employer, Jack. He was my first coach, and then I needed a little bit of help with it. So I discovered, paying for somebody to coach me or getting a coach myself is really beneficial. It removes so much stress from me. It makes me adhere to things better. It gives an outside perspective that I would never seen myself. And as much as I like to think that I check all of the boxes, there are things that I don't see because I'm doing it, and sometimes emotion can take over and sometimes ego can take over. So that outsider giving their perspective is very beneficial. So at the moment, last year I worked with Dan Hipkiss for England's for only 6 weeks of the England's prep, because I decided 6 weeks out I was doing it, and thankfully he helped me. He got me into fine shape for it. I really appreciate his fucking help there, because I don't know what I would have done without him. He helped me carrying that through to Britain's as well. And about October, November, I went on my own, just having a play around and enjoy training again, because I'm in it for the enjoyment of training. It's very satisfying to me. It's a good, healthy habit that I need to do, and I need to kind of enjoy every week. And there's no surprises here. Dan is very autistic, and his programming is too. So I need a little bit of, fairy dust sprinkling on stuff. I need to have a little play, because I'm just the gym. It's my playground. So at the moment I'm not working with him, but we will be back together for the England's prep when we're once I know the events for England. So I think that's all right, mate.
I remember from UK's you were saying we were talking about having like a coach nearly for everything. Would you so you would still recommend having not, you don't just have to have one coach. You can have, because Donna, obviously that's what we were getting into the topic at UK's, was Donna has more than one coach for certain different things. So do you have to would the clients have to keep you in tune with what the other coach is doing with them as well, so it kind of doesn't interrupt the programming you've given them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. If they've got a coach that's working specifically on like a skill, it hasn't happened that much. It's usually what occurs is they're working with a nutritionist and they're getting nutrition coaching. So it's not really that necessary that I know what they're doing with their nutrition coach. They can voice it to me whether they're in a deficit or whether they're in a surplus, and how is it going. What are your goals? Can we kind of figure a way to work this together? And I don't really need to speak to the person that much, as long as they're telling me that they're in a surplus or a deficit, or in maintenance phase. And so long as that kind of aligns with the goals that we have in training, then there's not really a problem. Skill-based coaches, I don't really need to collaborate with them, because they're just doing their shit. It's
I can do that a little bit. So obviously Jenny programs me, but a lot of the time I'm either getting like a new event, and Jenny's like in the programming, it will give me video and guidance, and she'll we send videos back, and she'll say, no, what was that? And then so there's specific things, but sometimes it's useful. So I work a lot of time with Jason from Spartan Atlas, because it's his gym and he's in there, and he's decades old like me, so he kind of works around. So I'll say, right, Jenny's got me doing this, this, and this, and this is how I should be doing it. And he'll right, okay, and he'll watch me go, right, okay, try this, try that. just, you know, he's got years of experience of doing events and adapting events to suit broken people and stuff like that. So I'm doing the program that Jenny's given me, but sometimes he'll be picking holes in what I'm doing. Obviously, predominantly on the stones. He picks holes in a lot of my stones. But like throwing techniques and things like that, you can see go closer or go further away that you can't necessarily sometimes get from sending Jenny like videos and stuff like that. So that's quite useful. But so it doesn't detract. I just say to Jenny, yeah, I did this. And
no, it all answers, man. As long as we're all on the same page, then it just works.
I had Badger today. So yeah, Badger was in today, sort of. So that was pretty useful because, you know, he's got years of experience and like competing and stuff. So when he comes in and trains with us all in the gym, we all go away with like new tips of, oh, didn't know that. So he's helped Brian with a few things, and he helped me a couple of things today. So that was good.
My programming is with Shane, but a lot of the time, well, he's so far away from me. Like, we obviously communicate through video, and like he watches stuff, and I'm like, I've really got no idea how to pick this up or what I'm doing. So he'll send me videos and we'll have discussions about it, but he obviously can't be there to see what I'm doing, and sometimes you need that physical presence, like, for someone to actually analyze it. So like one of my mates, he's like Britain's under 80 kilo strongest man, Tommy Chivers, and he used to coach me before Shane did. So like a lot of the time I'll go and see him, and he says, oh, that looks good, but you maybe try it this way. And it's not like you're going off program, you're just having someone give you more advice. And I think like all coaches kind of respect that as well. Like you kind of know that there's a boundary, like you're not trying to poach someone's athlete, you're just trying to give each other friendly advice at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. And like what you're all trying to do is get better at the fucking sport so that you can enjoy it more and, you know, get more out of it. And I'm always looking to be, you know, the best student of the sport, so learning as much as I can and improve myself as much as I can. And that you need to reach out to other people. It's like there's not just one voice on the planet that tells us everything that we need to know. You collect stuff from lots of different people. So it's
everyone's different, aren't they? You can't nobody should, I don't think that everybody should deadlift the same way, nobody should log the same way. Like, you've got to work with what you've got. And I think a lot of people forget that, men specifically, actually a lot of men like watch like how like Brian Shaw will deadlift, or like how Eddie deadlifts, and they're like, I'm going to deadlift like that. And it's like, that's not going to suit, that it probably isn't going to suit somebody that's like an under 80 kilo athlete that's tiny. Like, you've got to figure out what works for you, and you can take bits and pieces here and there, but ultimately, like, you have to figure it out for yourself. And I think I think men struggle with that a lot more than women do. Like, I know that I ask around the gym a lot, like to a lot of the other strong men and that train at my place, and the guy that runs the gym, Andy, and obviously Tommy as well. And I kind of like take information from all of them. And now I've got Johnny as well. Like, he's like an ex-strong man, so he can help me out a lot. And I just take advice from all of them, and then just take chunks in that. And that takes nothing away from Shane. If anything, I'm helping like him, like with my progression as well. So like, just by wanting to know more, and by having that advice, and like taking on board other people, what other people can see, because I can't always see what I'm doing, and it might feel right, but it's probably 100% wrong. So you got to take on what other people are saying as well. I think you just got to be open,
because you're like, what, 6 foot something. And
I'm
I remember watching your deadlift, and that was whenever I had first messaged you on Instagram, and I was, I want to deadlift like Lucy. And so I was trying, I think you have a bit more, like, from what I know from the way I deadlift now, you have more of a narrow stance than me, but your legs are a lot longer. You know, your hips are like, my hips are quite wide, so I can't get into the same position you can get into unless I have my legs wider apart and my toes facing out, because I have my hips are quite like laid back and out. I don't know if that even makes sense to you, but I know. Like, that way. So, and I went from, when I had messaged you, 100 kilo deadlift was like the hardest thing ever. to
I
going
remember.
and doing I've got 160, which is a
Yeah.
big milestone for me. Like, so I finally got 160 now. So there's a lot more in there, but it's learning your own body as well, like, isn't it?
Yeah, you do have to have a good relationship with your own body, and you've got to know how it's going to do things. And I think I always moan because my arm, I've got a massive wingspan, and that's great. It's great for deadlifting because it means that my lockout is like pretty much at the end of my knees. Like, whereas a lot of people have to lock out of their hip, but it's not great for log press or overhead. Like, it swings and roundabouts, and it's just learning how to make them benefit you, and just accept that some things you're gonna have to do a little bit differently or work a little bit harder at than other people.
You saw I don't know if you guys watched the Australia Pro Show the other day.
I haven't even watched it
Stones
yet. No.
are just phenomenal, and they're coming up, and there's a girl over there, and she had like a huge wingspan. I mean, like, Donna's got a big wingspan for like a size, but this girl was like, whoa, and I was like, oh my god, and she was like really great at it and stuff. And then obviously Donna came up, and then like poor Andrea got there, and like she's looking at this stone, and like this stone's like as big as her like wingspan, if you like, and she's got phenomenal strength, and she muscled that thing over, but it looked so much harder for her. And like Oz said on the commentary, yeah, she's got the perfect physique for log pressing, not so great for stones. And it's like, but that's it. But anyone like looking at and kind of going, oh, I want to emulate how like Andrea log presses, no one, like, I mean, no one's got those shoulders. Like, she's just a completely different dynamic. People go to me, like, about I deadlift, because I deadlift strapless. Even with an axle stuff, it's like my body, the way it's actually broken, means that my natural position is in a mixed grip. If I stand, that's where my arms naturally stand. And when you've got hands this big, like, it's just much easier. And people have tried so many times going, it'd be so much better if you put straps on. No, I'm not. And I have tried, and I am not better. And it puts me in the most uncomfortable position ever to strap to a deadlift bar, that I lose all strength altogether. Literally, you strap me in, it's horrific. It's so bad.
It's funny, I get kind of the same vibe from wearing straps on a deadlift. I just can't seem to do it. Because like applying the grip with the bare hand sends signals up the rest of the fucking body, and it tells it all to, create tension and perform powerful shit, and you just can't do it when you bound your wrist to a barbell. I can't fuck off.
I had this when we went to UK's, because I've got like a dicky bicep, and like the guy said, look, you can do stuff, but if you're deadlifting, you've got to be strapped in. So I tried double overhand, and I think I was struggling picking 150 up, couldn't do it. So I had to learn how to try and strap in with a mixed grip. And you know how fast UK's run through? They were like, right, you're out, you're on, you go, like, lift, go. And I said, I went out with Kay, and I said to her, do not start strapping in until I give you a nod, because I am going to be here for ages.
They made you strap in at UK's, did they?
Sorry?
Did they make you use straps? I thought it was
the guy doing the rehab for me.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I missed that bit.
Yeah, my bicep was so bad. He said, look,
just you're gonna need it.
You're gonna need to strap. So I was like trying to be a good girl, but I had to strap in this one on the hand, and it takes me ages to look at it and go, right, which way do I need to tighten it?
That seems all wrong.
Yeah, it just felt so weird. And I go, and then I looked at Kay and I went, we're good. And then we went, and then I did one, and then I was just like, no, I can't get rid of these things. I just can't do it. I literally can't do it.
I obviously don't agree about the straps. I would love. I have figure of eights, but they're made by Les Wiltshire, but he measured my wrists for them, so they're not too big. Because I do struggle with like generic figure of eights, and I find like the sizing like really awkward. So like I've got some that are like designed for my wrists, and like I love pulling deadlifts on them, but I've also started to learn how to use the wraparound ones as well. But I think if I was to mix grip, I could actually still deadlift 300 kilos. I've got a good grip on me, but because I don't have to, I'm never going to do it.
I'm nearly terrified to do anything without strapping myself in, because before I done Ireland's last year, I think it was about 2 weeks before, a patient had attacked me in work and tore the ligament down here and down here and down the back of my hand. So I can sometimes feel it like it clicks or something. So I think it's just it's a mind fuck thing. It's not even like, I know I can do it without it because I have done it before, but it's sometimes in the back of my head, it's like, if I'm injured, I can't work. If I'm injured, I can't train, and that just plays a bit at the back.
Yeah.
It does. I think like I'm fine. Like there's some days where I struggle more. I've got really bad arthritis in my hands from breaking them all so much. So like I've broken all my fingers and they're all like bent and a little bit screwed up, my hands. And the arthritis now gets really bad. You know, so you say like, oh, I can tell it's going to be damp. Oh, I can feel it in my hands. That is me. So certain things, but I think like I've done a lot of work getting like grippy things. So if you look at the Gods of Grip stuff, they're really good for like strengthening like the bits inside like your metacarpals and stuff. And like you can really work with them and they do help. I've just started using those. So you sort of sit there watching telly, doing this and sort of stretching things. And that's quite a good way to kind of start to build up that mobility in your hands. Jenny does a thing for like mobility in your feet, like weird, like having like grippy feet. Weird, but yeah, like people forget about those sorts of things, like using your feet the way they're supposed to be used, not sticking them in the wrong trainers. So yeah, that's like the world of difference. I say to people, wear the right trainers, get rid of your fancy pretty Nikes and wear something that's practical.
You literally don't until you know, though, do you?
Yeah.
Until you've experienced wearing like barefoot style shoes or just getting used to reconnecting with your feet, taking your fucking shoes off in the gym and doing everything barefoot. You just have no idea how much of a benefit it's going to be to you.
Yeah, totally agree.
So many pain injuries. It can improve some problematic movement patterns. It's like I find it mind-blowing that I've always been quite, able to pick things up with my toes and stuff, and I always screw my toes up and then extend them and stuff just out of habit. I like to keep them moving, I think, because I don't like the feeling of cold getting into my feet, so I like to try and keep them moving. And when I ask somebody, like the towel scrunches, where you lay out a towel on the floor and you take your shoes and socks off and you like reach forwards, you drag it backwards, you reach forwards with your toes, drag it back. So you're just like flexing and extending your toes over and over again. Like, how many people can't actually do this? They can't coordinate themselves to tell their toes to extend and then like go down onto the floor and then curl the fucking towel up.
I'm just telling you now, Lucy sat there doing that with her feet.
I am. Yeah.
On her face. Her face was going.
I do this.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Is that the one where you do where like lift your big toes up? Can you lift your big toes up independently?
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all doing that right now, aren't we?
Yeah. I think my big toes are up.
Yeah.
But I've been wearing barefoot shoes for about a year now, and I've really noticed a massive difference. I kind of wear them for work now and everything because I've got really high arches and I've always had pains in my arches and it gets really tight and I have to get a lacrosse ball or something and roll them out, and I've never like been able to sort that out. And then I started wearing the barefoot shoes. I don't get that at all anymore. So
amazing.
Yeah, it's so much better. It works so well. I know Shane's really big into them at the minute, like as well. He like recommends that you go and walk like in barefoot shoes for like in the first thing of the morning for like at least 10 minutes just to try and reconnect your body to the ground and all of that. So He's like, if you don't have that, you need to start trying to find, like, what he was like, you just go outside and walk on some grass for like barefoot for like a little bit. And it's really coming in. Like, I think people were really understanding like that you've got to have a better connection with like every part of your body, not just the bits that you're using to lift.
Whenever I'm not out at work, I have my bare feet all the time. And even if I'm going out to get something from the car, I don't even put on any slippers. I just go out in my bare feet. And it does, you do, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Also, Lucy, I was going to say, if you're going to start doing the wee feet crunch with the towels, all your requesters on your Instagram, you'll have to start selling them instead of selling their bodies to them.
I'm gonna have to get that OnlyFans set up and just get it on
just
there.
For your feet.
That's it. People would love that.
That'll pay you for OSG next year.
That would be amazing. Maybe I do. Or maybe I should do it.
It's only feet. Like, it's not like you can get in trouble for putting feet, like selling feet.
No,
videos. It's not illegal. Like
exactly. Like, though, it's not illegal. It's not illegal at all. So why not? If people are willing to pay, why not? Yeah. I've got one guy in my DMs that really, really is desperate to pay me for my feet, for pictures of my feet. So, I mean, this could be a whole new revenue for me. Like, I reckon I could probably make a lot of money from that. I've got horrible feet though. Like, I don't know why people would want to look at it, but
I absolutely detest feet, and people go on about like this stuff and go, "Oh, we do this," and I say, "Look," they say, "Oh, well, it's demeaning and whatever," and I'm like, "Demeaning? You're in control. You are choosing to sell pictures of your feet to make money. They're the ones that have got the weird fetish. So literally, just go for it. You know, if anyone wants pictures of my feet, they can have them." It's not a nice
everybody's got their own thing, haven't they? I think everybody's got their own kicks, so you can't really judge them.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I'm judging everyone with feet because feet are disgusting, aren't they?
Oh dear.
Yeah, you're going to really affect my clientele, like, by saying stuff like that on these podcasts.
I'm sorry, Ray. I'm going for the bicep ones. I've had like a couple of like, you know, like on like biceps and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah. The only problem is there's only one flexes at the moment. The other one just kind of hangs around on its own.
That's all right. As long as you've got one working one, I'm sure they won't mind.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! I thought you were going to get your feet up there, Lucy. The way
Oh
you
God, no! I wouldn't be doing that for free. Oh dear.
Oh dear. That about probably rounds everything up, or is there anything else you just want to chat about? Because I don't know. I think we've covered quite a lot. I've actually covered more than what I actually thought we would cover.
I think
I enjoy doing these. It's been nice doing it with other people as well. I think because you get like a bit, you can have a bit more of a discussion and you can have a bit of a catch up with people that I don't get to see very often. So I like that.
Cool.
It feels a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
Having, you know, the spotlight's not just on you, and like this is just like a nice little chat. It's been lovely.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
My pajamas. I'm so
I'm in my pajamas, but they're still strongman kits. So
Look.
You're the toddlers.
I'm a toddler. I've got my toddler t-shirt on. I might be a little bit chunky now for my women who lift t-shirt. It's a little bit snug.
Oh sure, I don't like this one. I had to wear that one from I got UK's and I got it like 3 sizes too big for me. It's actually starting to fit me now. My other one doesn't fit me anymore either. No. One last thing I want to ask you, Jenny. Where did traps like Todd, like where did that come from?
I don't remember who said it, but I had pretty big traps. I went through a phase of like really heavy rugs and they just blew up. And then they continued growing when my deadlift got heavier, and just there was a load of taglines on Instagram going about, and it was something like that person's name, and I was just trying to think of ways to make it stand out. And I used to get called traps at my old gym. You know, they might have just been patronizing me, who knows, but they genuinely were a lot bigger because I was a lot heavier. But that's pretty much where it came from, people calling me traps. My school friends have always called me Todd, that's my name, because there was 3 Jennies in our school year, so everybody else got called their full name and I was just Todd. So yeah, I think that's it. That's
and
how
then
that...
where did the wee baby come out of? Is that you? Is that actually you as a baby?
One of my clients, no, it was one of my clients said, like, she mentioned the toddler thing. So this is all down to Sophie Olin, who was at Masters OSG. She came up with the toddler thing. She said, "Wouldn't like that's really fitting that like we are your toddlers," and it kind of works because toddlers can move pretty well and they're not frightened of stuff because they haven't got that ability to see that something's scary. They just want to explore and they want adventure, and they're constantly getting bigger and stronger. So it fits. The photo of the baby, I was trying to find like an image of a toddler that was embody strongman training. So I Googled angry baby or angry toddler, and I went through so much shit just to like, I've got perfectionism syndrome. It's a pain in the ass, but it worked out on that one because that was just like this little fucking angry lad, like in his fist. Oh, it was brilliant. So I sent it to a graphic designer and I wanted them to make it, turn it into a logo, and a bit of back and forth, and I wasn't really getting the vibe that I wanted with that particular person. And then I found Joseph Pluck, who was training at Rhinos at the time. Ant Brown knows him well, and Steph Clark and stuff. So I got on his case and he came up with it straight away. Like there was no back and forth at all. He nailed it the first time, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's put
And
that
where
on
can we buy these t-shirts?
Oh, you can just DM me and I'll send you your bank details if you want. As long
I
as
didn't even know you sold them until I seen her modeling it.
Because I'm a really, really bad businesswoman. Like I've got a box full of them, all different sizes. I'm so shit. But you can have one. Send me your address.
I will do. They're class. What size do they go up to? Like I'm about a 3XL.
I've got 2XL. I don't think I've got 3XL. I'll check.
Mm-hmm.
DM me after this and I'll check. I'll see what the biggest size is. Yeah.
Cool. And Lucy, when is your fucking t-shirt getting sorted?
I know, I do. I have got a logo. I had one designed like when I did the 300. Like somebody said I should sell t-shirts then, and I've never had the guts to actually do it. So I'm gonna get some sorted because I want to do some seminars and stuff this year, and I want to kind of do a little bit more, like give back a little bit more to the sport a little bit now that I know kind of what I'm doing, and I think it'll be good. It was good to have something like that. But yes, it's a little, I'll have to show you girls. Like it is just it's one of the pictures that was taken of me when I was pulling the 300 meters 300 kilos, and it's me strapped onto the bar, and you can see it's me, the logo. So I've just got to get it printed onto like some things, but on the plates it says 300 kilograms world record or something like that, but it's not like in your face, like it's just there. So hopefully people will like it. I'll have to just print them off and get people to actually start buying them.
I said the same to Donna after she did the team thing. That picture of Donna doing the Hercules with the crowd behind her was just phenomenal, because it was Donna, because you could see like every like
bulging shoulder.
It was just like Donna.
I've got such arm envy of Donna, it's unreal.
But that the crowd behind and the just the whole position of it was just such an awesome picture. And I said to Donna, like, and the same with you, Liz, you just need like posters making. You look like Chloe's got it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People, they might want your feet, but they probably want the poster of your deadlift.
If you don't want to sell the feet, you may as well sell the poster.
Maybe the poster's more acceptable actually.
Getting a website's pretty straightforward, because you can do a free website. I done one with Wix and I done one with Taylor Brand, and if you've already Taylor Brand one, if you've already got a logo, I don't know how you can upload. I don't think you can upload the logo. That one, like you kind of make it your own logo, but with a Wix one, you just upload your own logo. And
I'll have
Go for
to.
it.
I think it is something that I need to get my arse in gear and do something a little bit more like that. I think Tough Wraps are in the process of actually making some Lucy Underdown merch as well, so that'll be a bit
That's good.
embarrassing.
That's awesome.
But cool at the same time. So cool. Like, it is cool.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they
same-
really need to make deadlift straps, don't they? Lucy deadlift straps.
I know,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, maybe I'll just come up with a collab with them for that. It's like, they've been amazing sponsors to me, so I think maybe we'll have to have a little chat about that.
Yeah. And Claire, with Cerberus now, you'll have to get them to do your own t-shirt as well.
Yeah, maybe not deadlift straps, not much use. But yeah, I just yeah, I mean, literally, what, 2 weeks in of being sponsored by Cerberus, and I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. A little bit surreal. Someone asked me today and said, "What's it like being a sponsored athlete?" And I said, it's nice to get stuff because I got a little bit chunky. I pretty much had all Cerberus gear before, but I maybe be a little bit bigger now, and it was all getting a little bit snug. So it's cool to get sort of some new kit and things like that. But the odd thing for me is it's almost like it was like a recognition. It's like someone's kind of gone, "You're quite good at this," and I was like, "Oh my God," that's probably been like the coolest thing, of just actually thinking that someone might think that I'm worthy enough to actually, sponsor. That's pretty cool.
And Lucy, when are you doing your next Lucy's influencer Instagram post? That was cracker.
I've got some good ideas for it. I've just got to have the time to film it. So there will be more posts. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and do one once a week, but I've not managed to do it this week.
I want a full day of eating Lucy style.
Oh yeah, I can 100%. Full day of eating. I'll do a day in the life of, and then come with me to a deadlift session, because people won't believe how lazy I actually am when I train.
Yeah.
Johnny always says to me, when me and Johnny got together and we trained together for the first time, he was like, "I can't believe how lazy you are." He's like, "How are you so good when you're so lazy?" He was like, "You just don't do anything." And I'm like, "I do. I work hard when I need to work hard." But I am very lazy. I like my rest periods to be extra long, not necessarily the prescribed amount.
So not the 2 to 3 minutes, it's maybe 5 to
2
10.
to 3 minutes, maybe 5 to 10, scrolling on Instagram. Or taking the piss out of somebody else.
Yeah, Jenny, right? Like, I said the other day, it said 1.15, and I was like, "Oh, I've got an hour and a quarter." And I went, "That's 75 seconds, isn't it?" She went, "Yes." I was like, "Well, I was going to take the Kindle and a brew."
That sounds like the perfect rest period between stuff. No, I'm not. I think that some people sometimes, like the social media side of stuff, especially now that the sport's grown, it's started to go, like, everybody's like quite serious and stuff, and I'm not very good at being serious all the time, and I want to make it like fun. So I want to do a few little like bits and bobs and just be me and have a bit of a laugh with it, but sort of be like still kind of a little bit like, not like a bit educational, or like see what like our training's like and what we're doing, but just be like true to myself as well at the same time. So that sounded really cheesy, but just make it funny.
True to myself, because you'll see me dancing to ABBA in the gym.
Yeah, I've been known to throw out some dance moves before training, and I cannot dance whatsoever. So
Days where I was really struggling in the gym with like lots of people like talking to me and stuff a lot. When we moved to the new gym, it was a whole new scenario, because I'm used to just getting in and doing my own thing and getting out, and all of a sudden people kept talking to me, and I kept saying to Jenny, I can't train, I can't do it. And she's like, "Put your headphones on, put your own music on, nobody talks to you, you crack on." I was like, "I can do this." Put it on, and then I realized I was singing. It's bad when you're singing out to the music and like no one can hear you, but I would often just be singing away to my own thing, and I cannot sing. So we abandoned that pretty quick.
That's always Donna does that. So when I've trained with her and she's had like, fucking country music on, or Bonnie Tyler playing in her fucking ears, and she's just great time bobbing along doing a session, and sometimes you can hear her singing it. It's just so cute, man. It's really funny. I love people that sing out loud when they've got their headphones on. It's excellent.
That's brilliant.
Well, I said this the last time. Maybe we have rounded things up now.
Yeah, I probably need to go now. I've drunk like a coffee and a whole thing of juice, so I may need to go.
Oh,
Once you get over 30, the bladder starts going south.
Imagine what happened. Yeah. Yeah.
No, thank you, girls. It's been absolutely cracker having you on. Hopefully, get over and train me as in person. And Lucy, whenever you're next over, in Belfast, give me a shout, because I definitely want to get down. If it's before Ireland's, it would be good to get a wee competitive session going. You'll obviously beat me, like, but whatever. 12th March.
Oh, I'm over just after that. I think, but I will probably be there. I'm over in February, but I'm not sure how much time I'll have around it because it's Johnny's birthday. But other than that, there should be a time just before that. But I'm over for the Eliminator, so I'll be about for that as well in Bangor if you're going. So
yeah, I think I'm going to go down to watch it. Yeah.
So either way, I'll see you in a few weeks' time anyway. But
yeah, sweet.
But I will let you know, and we'll get a session in because it'd be good to do some training. I want to do a bit more of that sort of stuff anyway, train with other people and just have a bit more of a laugh. And yeah, and come and see Claire, because I've been promising her for ages, and my sister lives just down the road from Spartan, and I really need to do it. But my sister's been moaning at me as well because I haven't seen her for nearly a year now, so I do need to make the drive and just do it. But in the next few weeks, hopefully, before the season starts, definitely, or before the season starts for me. No.
We might, those new bars that just been advertised, the Cerberus bars. Hopefully getting one of those so you can come and play with that.
Oh yeah,
I seen you put them up. What's the difference in them bars to the other
ones? It's a bit like an elephanty bar. It's like 10 foot or something with quite a flex to it.
That sounds amazing.
So hopefully, all being well, going to order one of them tomorrow.
Ooh. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. But hopefully, March is pretty busy for me. But hopefully, yeah, I come back from holiday. So beginning of April, I'm likely to get to Wales.
That's good. Yeah, that works. I'm in America for the last week in March. I think it's
Yeah, I'm in Mexico.
Ooh.
Bitches. Right, that's grand. Thank you, ladies, for coming on, and yeah, I'll hopefully get chatting to you again. And even next time, I might even get a bigger podcast and have like another few of you on as well. I do like the group ones. They're a lot less pressure on me as well, because I sometimes get tongue tied when I'm trying to ask questions. So yeah.